to Home Learning 2 and Sketching, and this week we're looking at 2-point perspective. So again, I'll be using 2D design just to show you how to do this, but obviously what we would like you to do is to practice freehand sketching. It's just easy to record the screen by showing you this method. Right, so 2-point perspective literally has 2 vanishing points, and we've done this before. So all I'm going to do is just put 2 crosses onto the page right at the top, and they're going to be my vanishing points. So on the left hand side we will have vanishing point 1, on the right hand side we have vanishing point 2. So the idea this week is we're going to carry on designing things using cuboids and using blocks to construct images, and that's mainly because when you make something, most times out of 10 it's going to be something that's fairly cubic and it's just easy to sketch. And we will be looking at doing 2D drawings and 3D drawings, but we'll start with the 3D drawing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the line that's nearest to me from here, and then all I'm going to do is project the lines going up to vanishing point 1. And then I'm going to draw a side going in, and once I've done that I can just darken in the outline of this side. Now obviously on your drawings you'll be drawing it faint, but on mine I can't draw it on faint on the computer, so I'm just going to delete the lines I don't need. Okay, so I'm then going to take these lines over to vanishing point 2. So from there, and that line there I just need to delete just because it's not connected correctly. So if I just click onto there and take that to the vanishing point, and then what we'll do is draw in the other side, so we can do that going down here, and then we can trim these lines here. If I click onto the line from there, take it back over to here, we're now left with our cupboard. So this is going to be like a TV cabinet that we're going to do initially, just to show some of our design skills. So on the one side we're going to have a cupboard, so I'm just going to draw a cupboard going down on this side, and then from the other side what we will have is somewhere in the middle that going to that vanishing point, and we can start to see how this is actually going to look like a cabinet. Now I could have 2 drawers on here, but I'm actually going to make these shelves. So what I'm going to do next is literally click onto here, take that back to vanishing point 2, take that back to vanishing point 2, and what I should be left with is now a unit that looks very similar to this. Now I could, if I wanted to, add things like a plinth or some feet, so I am going to add a plinth onto this. Let's see, there we go. So a plinth is a bit like the kickboard that goes underneath the actual product, sort of lifts it up off the floor. So if I just delete these lines, and it's all about adding the detail in, just seeing what makes it look 3D and realistic to what it doesn't look realistic in 3D. So it's a way of fooling people really, if you like. So there we go, we've got the bit at the bottom. We can have things like handles, so I'll just draw a handle on here, and that's just going to be a square block on my one, I think. It should be in perspective, so I should be coming from here going down to perspective. Yeah, I managed to guess that correctly. And then we can just draw that handle on the door. So I'm just practicing at the moment drawing square lines, so it hasn't got to be perfect, it hasn't got to be a work of art, it's just getting the idea of sketching. As we get a bit more advanced we will start adding a bit more detail into things to make them look a bit more effective. So what we're doing now is literally taking these back to vanishing point 1, and then all I'll do then is draw a line going from there to there. I can delete these lines so I won't need them, and then from there to that vanishing point here. And again, we've now got that TV cabinet, that storage unit, if you will, drawn in 3D using that method. And you can always pause these videos at various points while you're trying to follow, and then just either rewind them or let them play once you know what you're doing. Okay, so to put it in the situation now, we're going to actually draw the TV on the top. So the TV, I'm just going to place so it's not actually in the center. So I'm just going to draw one line going up vertically. I'll do exactly the same as what I did at the bottom. So this time I'm going to take these vanishing points, these lines to the vanishing points. So if I take these across, so vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, and you can see how easy it is to start building these drawings up from there. So we just need to have the line going through here, which is what we will do. And I'm just going to trim those lines as well, just so we know where the TV is. And that looks like it's connected to the side at the minute, but we'll change that once we've put the stand on. So I'll just make the thickness of the TV going up as well. Let me just get these lines out of place. Whoops, wrong one. So this is what we're doing, and then this line can go from that from that point to that vanishing point, from this point to that vanishing point, and then we can trim these bits in. Right, the next bit to actually make it look like it's in the middle is to put that TV on a stand. So all I'm going to do here is I can find the center of where the image is. So that's how we always find centers of squares going from corner to corner, but we know that. And then all I'm going to do then, is literally click onto the center, if it'll let me, which it won't. So if I just escape out of that and try a line from the center and a line from the center there, and then at this point I can start to project my stand going back for the TV where it needs to be. So if I just delete those lines, that looks a bit complicated, but in fact it's a lot easier than what you think. And I've now got the stand to the TV. Okay, now in addition to the stand of the TV, I am going to draw a little Xbox or a games console. So we do exactly the same, so you'll get the idea of how we're doing things now. We draw the line that's nearest to us. This is going to sit on the top of the table. I'm then going to take those lines back to vanishing point 1. So I'm going from the corner to vanishing point 1. I can draw my lines going down for the thickness of the actual games console. So I'm going to do mine there. I could do it angled if I wanted to, but I'll just keep it square, just for the ease of showing people on the videos. And then I'm just going to project these lines going back to VP2. So if I draw my line going back to VP2, and so really all lines, unless they're vertical, will either go to vanishing point 1 or vanishing point 2. So I'm just going to draw my lines going upright now. Delete the lines I don't need. I could have left that one in actually, just for a bit of detail. Although it will get confusing with the back, so I'll leave that one off for the time being. And then all I need to do now is connect that line going back up to vanishing point 1. And we're pretty much all done with that bit. So there I have my TV on the cabinet with the games console on top as well. Right, so once we've drawn that, what we can do then is start thinking about what this would look like from the front and the side views. So from the front and the side view, we'll do this from the front. It's pretty easy. So from the front, I'll use my grid lock in here just to help me. We're just going to draw a rectangle. It's going to have a cupboard going down probably a third of the way. It's going to have a shelf going across, and there's no reason why you can't put the thickness of the shelves on now. I know I've missed it off here, but I could have done that. So to do the thickness of the shelf, for example, I can just click onto one of the sides and just draw the thickness across, so you get the idea from there. Just put a bit more detail in. In fact, on this one, what I will do to make it look like we've got the thickness of the shelf is I'm just going to draw a square inside a square, and that will give me the thickness of the wood then. So if I do something that looks like this and just draw a square, it's pretty much what I would see from the front. I'd also see a handle onto here, and I would see a square where the plinth of the table is. That's pretty easy from there. So I don't need to draw the TV on the front or anything like that, because I'm actually designing the side bit. So what could we do next? Well, we need to do the side view next. Now the side view is going to be quite boring, if I'm honest, because all the side view is, if I take these lines across in isometric, so if I just draw these lines across, because the side will be exactly the same height as this, so I'm just taking these lines across, and I can draw the plinth in. Let's say that I want the cupboard to be a bit wider, and then what we've actually got there is what it looks like from the side. And if you wanted to, you could do some hidden lines where the shelf would be seen inside. So hidden lines usually tend to be drawn with a dashed line. So if I just change that to a dashed, maybe 3. Okay. So you can see the inside of things. So now if you're drawing from the inside of things, you can see where the plinth would be. Okay, so that's that part going through. I suppose the other things that you may see is you would see the back of the unit as well. So if I just turn off my grid lock for a second, so you'd see that the back, if we're looking at the inside of it, and you'll also see the top and the bottom. So whatever these lines are here, I'm just going to take these across, and wherever that line is, take that across, and it's starting to add just a little bit more detail than we did last week. So now we're using dashed lines to show hidden features. So I'm just going to click onto these now, just to start to change these lines where they need to be. So we're going to do that one, I'm going to change that to 3. Okay, so that looks a bit boring on this side, so all I'm going to do is just on my, just sketch that one where it is. So I do exactly the same on there, but on the other side. So looking from this side, it looked this way, so I can draw that behind it just as a rough sketch, and just to stop the confusion, I can delete all the other lines that I don't need. So it looks like it's gone behind the back of the TV. Let me just zoom in a little bit and zoom back out. And then we can say, what does it look like from the front? Well, from the front, if I just project these lines going down, all it's going to look like, so that bit's coming down. If we take it from 45 degrees, so 45 degrees, if we want to get it in orthographic, where these lines come down, I'll take them across. So we just literally project the lines going down, where they go across, and in that way I know they're exactly the same length and distance as the other one. And this is what we're looking like from the top view. Now of course from the top view we would see some hidden features. So I'm just going to now change this to a dashed line because it's easy for me to do. So we'll have the plinth underneath to start off with. You would have the line going down for the thickness of the wood and the door. So from there may be a line going from there, and also from, if I can get this level, from where it is down there, it would look like that, but maybe a bit straighter. And of course the other thing that we need is we would need the door handle, and the door handle, looking from the top, would probably look just like that. And so that's it. So now what we've got is the next stage with a nice border around to make it look better, and we can start to annotate these things of what these things actually are. And so that's this week's drawing of the TV cabinet. So we've got the 3D sketch, and we've also got the 2D, what it looks like from the front, the side, and the plan. And we can start to label some of these as well, start to annotate them. So I can actually write plan view. Really these should be in uppercase letters, but at the moment we're not going to worry too much about British standards. So we've got the plan, and we can start adding the front elevation. So the front elevation basically just means what it looks like from the front. And then we've got the side elevation over this side. So I'm just going to shrink that down a little bit more. And then we can start to write next bit. So we've got the next part, so that's going to be the side elevation. Side elevation. And then of course you could start to write features in on how it's being joined, etc. Side elevation, front elevation, maybe make that a bit smaller. And that's this week's task, to do a TV cabinet or a piece of furniture. It doesn't have to be a TV cabinet, it's just that I put the TV and the Xbox on in perspective in 3D, and then what it looks like from its side, its plan, its front, and the other side.